Well, welcome back to our continuing journey on podcast with Fishing Without Bait, a lifetime without definitive expectations, where we're helping people explode into their lives and creating a life that they want. And in a complete turnaround, we're going to continue our conversation with Missy Sorg, who has me interviewing yours truly, Jim Ellermeyer, your friendly neighborhood behavioral health therapist.
Well, I appreciate, and this was completely not planned, to be honest. So we have Mother's Day coming up here actually this weekend is Mother's Day. So the podcast is, if we're going to be talking about this, Mother's Day's probably already occurred, but this is Mother's Day month, so we'll have some time that we can still talk about mom. What is one of your favorite memories of your mom growing up?
One of the favorite memories of my mother, naturally, be at the time when I was so young. My father would be at the bar doing whatever he did, and my mother would sit there with me, and she'd play board games. You know, there was things to do in the house. There was laundry, there was cooking, there was cleaning, there was all these things. But she would sit and play board games with me. She would sit and play cards with me, even though I cheated. Okay, she would sit with me, and she was very patient, and she listened. And she listened, and she held me when I cried. It couldn't have been better. It couldn't have been. So when I think of her, things like that, yes, I can think of her, how proud she was when I went back to A, when I got off of Social Security disability, when I went back and completed my undergraduate degree, when I chose to be in to get a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling, when I started a counseling firm that treated people, not diagnoses. And our philosophy was those who can pay should pay, but we're not going to let financial considerations stand in front of a person's wellness, okay? I remember when I got that master's degree, my ex-wife's time, she organized a luncheon for me, and all my friends were there, and my friend Sam and my mother was there, and she was very proud. I think one of the proudest moments that I remember that she had was when normally, it's a tradition in the 12-step world, that when you have your first anniversary that you give a lead that night, where you tell what happened, how it was, what happened, and what it's like now. Okay? So that night, I not only gave my first lead, I got my first coin. So she was very, very, very proud of that.
Yes, she should.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's the best gift I could give her. Giving somebody the gift of recovery to show that she doesn't have to be concerned about you. Where's my son? What is he doing? Is he going to be alive tonight? Is the common fear. And then the common guilt of mothers is, what did I do wrong? Okay? Nothing. I assured my mother that she didn't cause it. She couldn't control it, and she couldn't cure it. Okay. She knew all my friends in recovery. She knew all my friends in the 12-step world. So, yeah, I know a lot of them came to when she passed. Of course they came to support me. That's what we do. It's the right thing to do. Isn't it? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. We're only here for a very short period of time. And the concept of when we take a little deeper dive into 12-step philosophy, we don't own anything. Everything in this life is shared with us. It's certainly a Native American concept. And when we know that something is shared with us, and we may have to give it back at any time, aren't we just a bit more careful of it? Don't we consider it more precious and special and try to keep it pristine and maintained? You know, when parents tell their child, I own you, I made you, that life is shared with them. We don't own anything. So foolish. Although I'm not a Christian, I believe I follow the precepts of this Jesus person absolutely. And, he would caution people and say, you fools, what are you going to take with you? What we often said, Missy, is that there's no prize for being the richest person in the cemetery.
That is valid. That is absolutely valid. Everything that we build and compile here, we're not taking with us.
The only thing that carries with you, the only thing that people remember about you is your honesty, your integrity, your dependability. Like Abraham Lincoln is remembered for many things. What was he called?
Honest Abe.
Honest Abe. That's what people remember about him. Dependable, honest, always there, focused, dependable, no regrets. I always said, Mike, and you and I have talked about, I thought the perfect epitaph on tombstones in a cemetery would everyone say no regrets. No regrets. I don't want to have any regrets. I got it tattooed on my arm. It says in the promises in the book, it says no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit both us and others. So we use that past as experience to benefit both us and others. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to stay clean and sober, and we're supposed to carry the message. That's what we're supposed to do. And in our own way, Missy, you, Mike, and I are carrying this message of hope to all our listeners.
Life is a shared experience.
It most certainly is. One of our guests that we enjoy so much is a clairvoyant medium by the name of Santina Grace. And her and I did a podcast one time which centered around the Buddhist concept of the illusion of separateness. That's an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
The illusion of separateness.
I couldn't agree more with you on that. Looking throughout my life, there have been connections, whether short-term or long-term, that have that interconnectedness. I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you had I not had those connections that brought me to this point, which I'm very grateful for. And, having this conversation with you has been really enlightening. We're going to have more conversations like this too, moving forward with things. Thank you. I appreciate
You're more than welcome. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to share what worked in our lives, not telling people what to do, not telling people. All we can do is give suggestions, but we only want to give those suggestions or advice when we're asked to do so.
Well, I put an asterisk on that, though, because there have been times that I've not necessarily been asked to give advice, but it's been thankful that I have given advice.
Well, if somebody's going to go and jump off the Traversburg Bridge, yes, I'm going to give some advice.
Yeah, I mean, I've had friends who, look like they're carrying a burden. I'll have a conversation and, offer them my 2 cents on, and some of those friends have thanked me afterwards and said, thank you for talking with me about it, because I hadn't thought about it the way that you broke it down.
When you know somebody so well, and you can come up to them, you can look at them and say, I can see that you're troubled.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it was under those circumstances.
And when you see that you're troubled, that opens it up for further conversation.
True friendship and companionship.
Well, we've often talked about acquaintances, we've talked about friends of commonality, and we talk about bonded life companions. We've talked about the 3 a.m. friend. That's a friend that you could call up at 3 a.m. in the morning and without any questions or thought they would come and get you wherever you were. I often ask people, I say, who do you trust so much in your life that if they said fall, you'd fall without hesitation? Because that's how much you trust that person. Or to say, to ask a person, if everything was taken away from you, money, health, reputation, job, family, everything. Who would be standing with you at the end? Who would never leave you? And when they name a person, I say, I want you to tell them exactly what that today. I want you to call them. I want you to let them know and how meaningful that would be for them, rather than just say, thank you for always being there. I love you. Adding depth to that type of conversation and letting them know that depth of your feeling toward them. It's going to last. It's meaningful. They'll carry that the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. I can count on one hand the number of people that have touched my life in that capacity. Um, there are people outside of that circle of friendship, but for the most part, it's a very small circle that is that close.
I remember in the uh, film Tombstone, when Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell, they played Doc Holliday. I remember sitting out there chasing this gang that had killed one of Wyatt's brothers, and this guy said to Doc, why are you here? Why do you keep following Wyatt? Da, da, da. He's there. We were in trouble, and all Doc said was, he's my friend. And the other guy said, I have plenty of friends. Doc looked at him and said, I don't.
That's true. Quantity over quality. Or, I'm sorry, quality over quantity. That's
Well, it's like Wyatt. He knew Doc was going to be there. He knew Doc was going to have his back.
absolutely.
He had no question. None.
Nope.
He trusted Doc Holliday so much, yeah, he'd fall because he knew Doc would catch him.
Yep.
How about that? If you can have one or two people like that in your life, for everyone out there, you're extremely fortunate individual. Extremely fortunate. So how do we want to do? Generally, we walk past 5 or 6 excellent relationships, and we want to repair the person who maybe is just disinterested in us, or maybe maybe really doesn't care for us. We want to make that thing right, rather than add to and reinforce the relationships that work.
Well, it's funny that you kind of mentioned that. I was reading a couple days ago this little snippet from a book that I was considering reading, and it's the 2 beers and a puppy rule. So the 2 beers and a puppy rule. People fall into one of 3 categories. If you want to have a beer, if you're willing to have 2 beers with them, then they fall within that friends category, and you can kind of hang out. But are they trustworthy enough that you would have them watch your puppy?
Ha 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 ha.
If
Yes.
if they don't fit into either of those 2 categories, why are you even bothering to have them in your life?
Then you don't trust them.
Precisely. Then you have the people that you would maybe not want to have beers with, but you would trust them with a puppy because they might not be so fun socially to go out for beers, but you would trust them with your puppy.
When I ask people, particularly women, what are some of the requirements it takes to be with them, that's usually number one. Being honest and trustworthy. Trustworthy is probably number one.
Trustworthy is a big thing. As a woman, I can honestly say that. My husband often travels with my best friend, who is a woman, and they will stay in the same room together. I trust both of them implicitly. There is nothing. I have no concerns.
Absolutely.
And I have people ask me, well, how can you have your husband stay in a room with another woman? Because I trust him and I trust her. And if they were to ever do anything to cross that line, I don't even want to think of what that would look like.
Well, Dr. Chaudhry would always tell people, we will trust you until you prove otherwise.
Precisely.
And I was always they say, I don't trust him. I said, has he ever given you any reason at all to suspect that? And they'll tell me, no.
Then what's the concern?
I'll say, are you trying to make something up?
Yeah.
So the whole idea about this is slow down, Deal with what's right in front of you. We live in the present. We talk about time traveling on this show frequently, and that's one of the things that most people do. Frequent flyer miles to the past and the future, briefly hovers in the present. So my suggestion to everyone out there is be in the present moment. You're right here, it's right now. Deal with what's right in front of you. Thanks for our talk today, Missy.
Thank you, Jim.
And at the end of every podcast, I think everybody out there knows that they would be very disappointed if we didn't hand out our free prescription. And that is fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. Do a kindness for another. Do a kindness for yourself. Forgive another and forgive yourself. If we're all not the divine's children, then none of us are. Till all are free, none are free. Namaste, my friends.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast. If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.